Hello friends, first of all let's take a quick tour around Photoshop's interface. I am using Photoshop CS6 and recommend you to use the same version. In earlier versions the interface was a lighter color and now by default it's a dark color. We can change it if you want to. To change the color of the interface, go to Edit, Preferences, General. Now this is the default color. If we want to change it to darker color or lighter color, we can do it, but I will keep it to this default color. Now friends, let's talk about the interface. This very first bar at the top is known as the application bar. This has all these drop down menus which we will talk about later. Below is the control panel or the options bar. It displays the options according to the tool selected. On the left hand side is the tools bar which contains all the tools. This is collapsed into a single column, but we can also display it in a double column by clicking this small arrow here. Now watch what happens to the control panel when I select different tools. The options change according to the tool selected. Now this is our document window and our work area. We have our image here and we can also call it our canvas. Whatever we'll do will happen here. Now this area outside the document window is called the scratch area. If you want to change the color of the scratch area, just right click and change the color to whatever you want to. Now right underneath the canvas, this thin bar is called the status bar. It is a little bit of information about our document. On the far left, this value is the magnification value, the zoom in or zoom out. Now this is the document information. By clicking on the small arrow, we can display the information we want. Now I like to keep it to document sizes. Now on the left is the original document size, on the right is the size after working on it. We can also get some additional information about our document simply by looking at the document tab. This is our file name, this is the magnification percentage, this is the layer we have selected, this is the color mode, and this is the bit depth. Now this small asterisk means there are some unsaved changes to the file. If we close the file now, we will lose those changes. This right hand side is the busiest area in Photoshop. There are several panels here. If we click any button, a panel comes out. In this panel group, there are two panels, the colors panel and the swatches panel. This group contains adjustments and styles, and this group contains layers, channels and paths. By clicking on this small arrow, we can expand these panels, and by clicking on this arrow, we can collapse these panels. We can further collapse these panels to a single column. Now there are these indented lines which separates the groups of panels. In this group we have two panels, here we have two panels, and here we have three panels. If we want to dock out any group of panels, just simply click and drag it out. We can float this window anywhere we want. Now to separate this panel from this group, just click and drag it out. Now this panel is separate and we can float it anywhere we want. Now this perforated triangle below means that we can expand this panel. Color panel does not have that perforated triangle, so we cannot expand it. We can also dock this panel at the bottom of the colors panel. To do so, just click and drag it there. When you see this blue highlighted line, leave the mouse. Now these two panels are joined with each other. Now to dock it back to its original place, just click and drag to its original place, and when you see this blue box highlighted, just leave the mouse. We can collapse them and expand them with these arrows. We can also minimize them by clicking by double clicking on this tab. We can also change the position of our panels. We can group them with other group. For example, we can click and drag this paths panel and group it with this group. Photoshop has a lot more panels other than the ones displayed here. They are all under the windows. There are so many panels. Some of them also have keyboard shortcuts. Let's open the character panel. It has two panels in this group, paragraph and character. Now that we have messed up our workspace, let's reset. Go to Essentials and reset Essentials. We get the default Photoshop workspace. Now if we want to see only the canvas, hit the tab key and all the panels will be hidden. To get the panels back, hit the tab key again. Now let's talk about the screen modes. This is the standard screen mode. If we click and hold this button right here, we can see that there are three different screen modes: the standard, full screen mode with menu bar, and full screen mode. Try each of them yourself. The shortcut for the screen mode is F. Now friends, I'll tell you to make some settings for efficient working with Photoshop. Those working on Mac, go to this Photoshop icon here and go to Preferences. For those working on Windows like me, go to Edit, Preferences and General. Go to this checkbox right here which says Zoom with Scroll Wheel. By default, it's not checked. You got to check it. I'll show you what it does. As the name suggests, use the scroll wheel on the mouse to zoom in and out at the window. It is very handy. We will make some more changes. Go to Edit, Preferences and now this time to File Handling. I would like you to keep it to 5 minutes. It says automatically save recovery information, which means that Photoshop automatically saves your work every 5 minutes. Even if Photoshop crashes, you will not lose much of your work. Last but not least the change, Edit, Preferences, Performance. If you have a 4 GB RAM like me, you can keep it to 80%. It means that you are using a 80% RAM on your system. But if you have a lower RAM like 1 or 2 GB, I would recommend you to keep it to 60%. I will keep it to 80%. And on your system, if this part which says graphic processor settings is grayed out, it means that you do not have a graphics card, due to which you can lose a lot of cool features of CS6. So I recommend you to go and buy yourself a good graphics card. That's all about the interface and the preferences. See you at the next lesson.